child, known as Fearless, Arckus, betrayed his kind and sided with Arthur. He was named Feels by his father and Child by his mother. Fearless and his brother Dauntless both escaped the Arckus void carriers together, forsaking their race due to its brutality. Daunt and Fear stole a captured spacecraft and abandoned their kind. At first the brothers just wanted to escape the terror their kind was known for bringing. After about 50 years, the brothers split, one on a quest to reignite the flame and glory of the Arckus after being gone for so long, and seeing the rest of the galaxy and those in it. And the other set on the path against the Arckus by any means necessary. Daunt left Fear. The once inseparable pair split because one believes the Warrius are good and the other they are parasites. Daunt went to tell how the Warrius had infected the galaxy, their galaxy. And Fear was left there on a ship in the ink, alone, split by his fleeting hatred for the Warrius and the broken bond of his brother abandoning him. Fear traveled through space firm in that he should help the Warrius somehow, but out of shame and sadly fear, he chose to fade into darkness forgotten. But as he sailed through a red star system with several massive gas giants, he was spoken to by something across the void and brought to a small planet orbiting one of the gas giants. Come to me and make yourself anew. Come gain power beyond measure. It whispers across the void into Fear's mind. With the words comes an image of a planet. Fear chased the voice through space, greedy for a way to separate himself from his people. Finding the dark stormy planet cursed with constant rainfall and dark thunderous clouds that flash periodically, at best, the world is locked in eternal twilight. When Fear exits his ship, the wind and rain whip at his top, knot at his clothes, and stain his boots. Following the dark entity that led him to the planet, he finds a large stone courtyard, and inside he finds a black wind that shifts and merges in the shape of a person. It mirrors his form, making a pure black silhouette. Before the two of them lies a fountain filled with iridescent purple water. The dark entity motions to the fountain, tempting Fear to bathe in its dark waters. What is this place? Are you? Fear demands, the pride of his race strong in his voice. It is an abomination. A perversion to the Supreme One, the entity says in a nasty whisper. Fear looks at the pool, the water flashing with thunderclaps and bolts streaking through the sky. The thought of how his brother would handle the situation helps keep him committed. Is it Pirellius, the Supreme One you speak of? Fear asks, stepping near the fountain and peering over the edge. A spike of terror attempts to test his willpower, but nothing can tempt an Arckus will. He is known by many names. He is not to be trusted. The dark form says darkly, mirroring Fear's actions. Are you Pirellius? Are you my god? Fear asks, true terror growing in his stomach. He looks up at the entity it looms, peering back. I am not your god. Lightning flashes, and a thunderclap sounds. The dark shadowy figure continues, your god is false. A fiction created to control. I have seen. It finishes, the rain beating and drumming the stone courtyard around them. False. Who are you to claim my god is false? The arrogance beating back the terror within Fear. Who are you? He says, stepping back in sync with the entity. Not worthy. You must have faith. I offer you power. Strength. A choice. The entity exclaims. Fear looks back to the pool, his terror forcing him to be rash, and he says, what must I do? This fountain is the dark creation of the goddess of discord to create godlike slaves to serve her will within the mortal plane. The pool is very similar to the one created by Omise, which every other god has used to reach the divine threshold. It is shielded from the Supreme One's power and sight. It will allow someone to approach the threshold but will not be able to cross instead. They will be granted a gift before being sent to their now immortal body. The entity sounds pleased as it continues, to attain this power. You must rest within the dark waters. You must surrender yourself to the feeling. You must let the fountain guide you. It says, then in a shadowy flurry, the entity dissolves, and Fear is left alone. Within its waters, the thought sends prickles of terror through Fear. The thoughts and pride just beyond the barrier of fear in his mind come crashing through as he remembers. I am an Arckus born of the line of Piraeus, the vessel of the death god Pirellius. I do not become afraid. I do not feel terror. For I am fearless. His words are muted by the crash of thunder as he slowly takes his first step into the fountain. The water feels like countless knives slashing him as he lowers his leg into the fountain. The pain bringing him to the edge of madness, but soon he lowers his body until only his chest and head breach the surface. The first scream leaves him. Then as the sky above moves with impossible speed, the thunder is earth-shattering in its volume. The forks of lightning race across the sky faster and more numerous than should be possible. Then Fear's eyes widen as a feeling washes over him like millions of hands reaching for him, wishing to claim him in the darkness. Remembering the entity's words, Fear closes his eyes and surrenders to the sensation. When Fear wakes, he's no longer in the fountain, nor is he on that cursed planet. His eyes cannot see, his hands cannot feel, and his ears cannot hear. Slowly he can sense the area nearest him. He feels horror before him, a curse behind and shackles to either side. He cannot scream, else the place he finds himself would resound with the roar of his terror until a voice speaks to him with no voice, imparting the words unto him as if they had always been. A ghost of a voice in the room, but it wasn't really there. Son of the void. But a creature of darkness you are not, a body of shadow with a core made from the faintest light. What an oddity. I give you shadows. I give you companionship. I give you life everlasting. None but whom is in this company may break this covenant. Now go. Go and see to the galaxy's darkness. Fear felt the chill of the fountain's waters slowly return as he returned to his body. His eyes opened, and he leapt out of the fountain, finding his leap took him much farther than it should have, causing him to fall onto the wet stone. The wind twists and swirls with shadow as Fear gains his feet. The terror which had so firm a grasp on his mind is strangely absent, as the dark entity returns and stands before him. You have gone. You have seen without sight. It says coldly. Fear looks at the dark form that mirrors his every move. No emotion strikes him. Now the entity appears more strange than terrifying, the intimidating air of it noticeably vacant. I have, and I know what I am to do. Fear says proudly. You must not fail. You are now her instrument. The hand of discord. You must not fail. The dark figure says, pressing the importance through its words. Fear feels nothing in the silence after it speaks. An angry look crosses his face, and with immense pride he says, and if I should refuse? A long stretch of silence, then the entity responds with trepidation evident in its voice. A threat to the divine. You will become. You dare question your purpose. Not as a question but as a statement. And what would happen if I were to kill you? Fear asks, his confidence swelling. He stands up straighter, the entity matching his posture. If I were to rip your darkness from this plane, what would happen? A maniacal laugh chases the words out. The shadowy form doesn't speak. A dark desire grows within Fear, a new feeling the only one present not his own, like an evil creature waiting to lend Fear its claws to slash and tear, tempting and pleading for him to use its strength. Foolishness. A mistake. It says. Fear frowns, and without flinching or any sense of emotion, he strides toward the entity. It matches his steps until they are nose to nose. Fear's shining teal eyes burn into the entity's empty eye sockets. I would like to find out, to erase you from this planet. Fear grins with malice as he feels the dark force inside tremble with excitement reaching to him, begging him to use its strength. And with no ounce of terror or dread, Fear embraces the power and lets it consume the dark entity. 6 black tendrils protrude from Fear's back, appearing almost like wings but are thick pitched black tentacles. They sway gently in the air untouched by the whipping wind, then slowly, silently, the 6 reach around Fear and quickly spear the entity and raise him into the air. The entity makes no sound except the words. You will spread much darkness. Then it seems to melt into the tendrils. They return to Fear's back. Fear feels no satisfaction, only that living feeling of darkness inside him. It whispers to him as he ventures back to his ship. Soon he lifts off and enters open space. Looking through his ship's navigational system, the dark whispers inside telling him to rejoin his kin, to conquer his people and lead them to glorious Porus, and to blacken the light.